Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day, thanks in a large part to our pals at the VFS School of Game Design. Thank you so much, Vancouver Film School. Now, today's rundown is dedicated to More Fish Scale, who is subscribed, watches all our videos, and gives us thumbs up. And today, you get a rundown. It looks like Rockstar Games is gearing up for another big Grand Theft Auto crime spree. An all-new game in the series titled What Else? Grand Theft Auto 6 is apparently on the way. Users on NeoGAF have spotted the unannounced game listed on the resume of motion capture actor Tim Neff, who recently worked on another upcoming Rockstar game, Red Dead Redemption 2. This is obviously far from official confirmation, so take that with a grain of salt, but it's still enough to get us excited. Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, game franchises in the world, so Rockstar is obviously going to make a new one at some point in the future. They're still releasing new DLC for the last game, Grand Theft Auto 5, but it came out almost 4 years ago. So if the previous release cycle of the series is any indication, we should be seeing a new game sometime in the next few years. It seems unlikely that GTA 6 would be out in 2018, given that Rockstar is already planning to release Red Dead Redemption 2 that year, but their calendar for 2019 is empty, so fingers crossed. If a new GTA game really is in the works, we're curious to find out where it will take place. The Grand Theft Auto series is famous for creating realistic versions of big American cities, with the most recent games focusing on fictionalized versions of Los Angeles and New York. Other cities like San Francisco, Las Vegas, and Miami have been recreated in the older GTA titles, so it will be interesting to see which one Rockstar takes us to next. The series is also known for its cutting satire that pokes fun at American society and culture. A lot has obviously happened in the US since the last game came out, so the writers will certainly have a lot of material to work with. The world is getting a better idea of who James Bond's new boss will be. A new list of potential directors for the upcoming 25th 007 movie has come in. Deadline reports that Bond studio Eon Productions is looking at 3 potential candidates. The first one is French director Yann Damage, who helmed the 2014 drama 71. Next up is David Mackenzie, the Scottish filmmaker behind last year's Hell or High Water. Finally, the third potential Bond director is Canadian filmmaker Denis Villeneuve, who made Arrival and is currently finishing up the new Blade Runner movie. All 3 of these filmmakers are very talented and will no doubt make an awesome 007 movie. There's no word yet on who the front runner might be, but the studio will likely pick a director soon, so we'll let you know when more details come in. As for who will play James Bond, Daniel Craig is rumored to be close to signing a deal, but the studio hasn't officially confirmed this, so it's not a sure thing just yet. We do know that the new movie will hit theaters in November 2019. It sounds like the music for the new Han Solo movie won't be venturing too far off course. Disney and Lucasfilm have found a composer for the troubled Star Wars project, and he seems like a pretty safe bet. The music will be written by composer John Powell, who's made the music for dozens of movies, including 3 of the 4 Bourne films, as well as loads of animated adventures like Shrek, Ice Age, and How to Train Your Dragon, the latter of which earned him an Oscar nomination. He's obviously an accomplished musician and will likely deliver a great score in keeping with the established Star Wars musical style. That's the idea. In a statement, Lucasfilm specifically says that the movie will be scored in the style of the original Star Wars movies, so don't expect anything too wild or different. This seems to be the direction Disney and Lucasfilm have been taking with the project in recent months.
Sorry about the mess.
They recently fired original directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller because they were reportedly departing too far from the established Star Wars tone, making the film too comedic, while the studio wanted something more traditional. They've since hired veteran filmmaker Ron Howard to finish the film and bring it closer in line with the classic Star Wars feel, and now that they've hired John Powell, expect his score to help do the same. Hopefully it all works out. Audiences will get to judge the Han Solo movie for themselves when it lands in theaters next summer.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
And speaking of rebels fighting evil empires, B.J. Blazkowicz isn't the only one fighting the Nazis in his latest game. Bethesda and Machine Games have detailed what's included in the season pass for their new shooter Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. It will have 3 batches of DLC that offer new story campaigns, each one focusing on a new playable character in the resistance against the Nazis. The first one is called The Adventures of Gunslinger Joe, where players will take the role of a football player who joins the resistance against the Nazis in Chicago. The second DLC is called The Diaries of Agent Silent Death, where you'll play as a female American spy who infiltrates a Nazi bunker. The third and final batch batch of DLC is called The Amazing Deeds of Captain Wilkins, with players taking on the role of a former U.S. Army captain in Nazi-occupied Alaska. The developers say they're focusing the DLC on other characters because they want to show other freedom fighters on different fronts battling to restore the soul of America. That's not the only DLC coming to the game. Anyone who pre-orders or buys the Season Pass will get a bonus mission called The Freedom Chronicles Episode 0, which will introduce all 3 of the new characters. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, will deploy on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One next month.
So simple.
Loads of details about the future of the Game of Thrones franchise have come in. With HBO planning to bring the hit series to a conclusion next year, the network has long talked about their intentions to create a spin-off set in the vast world of Westeros. Now we're getting a better idea of what to expect. Speaking at a press tour for the Television Critics Association, HBO programming president Casey Bloys revealed that the new show, whatever it ends up being, will not focus on any of the existing Game of Thrones characters. I guess that means any of them could be killed off before the show comes to an end, and it also means that the spin-off could take place in a completely different time period or location. We'll have to wait a while to see it. Bloys says the spin-off won't premiere until at least a year after Game of Thrones comes to an end. That would put it on the airwaves sometime in the year 2020 at the earliest. You might be wearing 3D glasses a lot less when you go to the movie theater. IMAX has revealed that they plan to move away from showing movies in 3D in favor of more traditional 2D. That's according to CEO Greg Foster, who tells investors that they're going to play fewer 3D versions of films and more 2D versions, because that's what audiences seem to be gravitating towards. He points out that the new Christopher Nolan movie Dunkirk was shown on IMAX exclusively in 2D, and it was one of their best releases ever. Most IMAX movies are still screened in 3D, but if audiences are showing a preference for 2D instead, it makes sense that theaters would change to give the people what they want. 3D exploded in popularity after the release of James Cameron's Avatar in late 2009, but it's been getting less and less popular over the years. Looking ahead, one of the next big IMAX movies, Blade Runner 2049, will be shown in 2D as well. That arrives this October.
I would much prefer that to the alternative.
Ubisoft's medieval combat game, For Honor, is getting something that it should have had all along. The publisher has announced that the online game is finally getting dedicated servers. This follows months of player complaints about long matchmaking times and slow connection issues, which is very problematic in an online game where the controls are all about precise timing. Hopefully, dedicated servers will go a long way to fixing this. Ubisoft hasn't said precisely when the dedicated servers will go online, but expect them soon. They're also planning to kick off 2 new seasons for the game, bringing new characters, weapons, maps, and gear, as well as new balancing tweaks. The first new season will begin in August, so hopefully the dedicated servers will be online around the same time. That's it for the rundown today, my friends. If you want to learn more about game design, visit our pals at VFS.edu. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new rundown for you. In the meantime, watch some of the other content that we've made for you, and if you like it, hit subscribe, okay?